China's economic rapid growth is among the most epic phenomena in the 21st century, and it has an historical precedent. Currently, China is one of the biggest market economies in the world, and its importance at global level is constantly increasing. The rapid growth of the country has affected all sectors: economy, society, culture, technology, and environment. In order to understand the real causes of China's economic progress, I will try to examine the different steps that led China to achieve such amazing goals. During the last century, China had to face very long years of wars, famines, and reforms. Despite this constant social development, China continues to preserve the heritage of its most famous leader. The man who changed forever the history of his country had led to power the party who was still governing the most populous nation in the world, Mao Zedong. Starting from Mao, I will try to explain and analyze how China reached its current rate of economic development. For this purpose, I first need to present a brief retrospective of its recent economic history, analyzing some of the most important 20th century events that brought China into the international market. Mao Zedong, commonly known as Chairman Mao, was one of the most influential personalities of the 20th century. Since 1933, he governed the Communist Party of China, and in 1949, he founded the People's Republic of China. The Great Husband, another name to refer to the Chinese leader, governed the most populous nation in the world for over 30 years, and he changed the lives of its people forever. His political theory, the so-called Maoism, was a sort of Marxism-Leninism applied to the Chinese rural context, and it was applied as the guiding political ideology of the Communist Party. It influenced the Western left and many students' activist movements in the 60s. In 1921, Mao Zedong actively participated to the foundation of the Communist Party of China. During the first years of its existence, the Communist Party had to cooperate with the China Nationalist Party, the Kuomintang. But in 1934, the two parties broke their alliance, leading to the beginning of the Chinese Civil War. The Kuomintang took control of the power and suppressed the Communist Party in Shanghai and other Chinese cities. The Red Army of the Communist Party undertook the Long March, and it was in this context that Mao started to gain power and became a national hero. On the 1st of October 1939, the People's Republic of China was proclaimed, and Mao Zedong was elected the state chairman. After the proclamation of the Republic, Mao had to face serious economic problems. The nation was destroyed by very long years of wars, famines, and natural disasters. The inflation had achieved appalling records, and the Chinese population was starving. In order to cope with this situation, the young chairman decided to start promoting a new package of reforms inspired to the Soviet model. Unfortunately, the situation didn't change a lot, and the Chinese leader had to take new measures to ensure quicker and better results for the nation. In 1958, the Great Leap Forward took place, and it was one of the worst mistakes in history. It was Mao's first concrete attempt to modernize China's economy. The Great Husband wanted to rapidly transform and modernize the country through an industrial boom project. For this purpose, he decided to reorganize millions of peasant farmers into groups known as communes, who would have been the Chinese progress machines. According to the chairman, the people's communes would have provided the peasants with all they need and would lead China to Great Britain's level in less than 15 years. Obviously, this project was absurd for the 1950s China, and it was doomed to fail. Before long, the Communist Party had to admit that the Great Leap Forward was an enormous failure. The agricultural production had dropped, the economy was devastated, and China was suffering one of the greatest famines in the world history. Mao's Great Leap Forward policy was openly criticized, and the Chinese Communist Party started to think about deposing its leader. But the party didn't do it because it would have meant admitting the entire party's faults. Mao's political ideology took a back seat in the Communist Party until he launched his second economic plan, the Cultural Revolution. For promoting his new project, Mao galvanized hundreds of thousands of young people, mainly university students and young workers, to attack and initiate the new revolution. The young revolutionaries welcomed Mao's new project and formed the Red Guards group. Mao's Red Guards were one of the most disastrous experiments of the Cultural Revolution. Their aim was to enforce Mao's ideology and to spread its thought, but they often used violent methods to enforce their willing. The most violent clashes lasted up to 1969, but the aftermath of the revolution continued up to the death of the Great Husband. After Mao's death in 1977, Deng Xiaoping rose to power and started promoting his reforms plan aimed at boosting Chinese economy and government institutions. This period is famous all over the world as the start of the era of Chinese economic reform, and Deng Xiaoping is considered the father of reformation. Deng's economic reforms were extremely successful and increased the country's wealth as never happened before. At the end of the 80s, the Chinese industrial production increased enormously. China was finally achieving the goals always promoted since the Mao years. Deng's program had achieved remarkable results, and China was living a new climate of dynamism and opportunity in the economy. During the past 30 years, the People's Republic of China has experienced extraordinary economic growth and poverty reduction. The amazing development of the country has affected all sectors: society, economy, public health, education, and environment. However, the economic boom had a very bad impact on the Chinese environment. In fact, the country had to face problems such as air pollution, water shortages, desertification, and soil pollution. But after 2000, the Chinese government committed to improve the environmental conditions of the country and to raise public awareness about the importance of this problem. In 2010, China was declared the second world economy and the largest goods exporter. Its rapid development has attracted worldwide attention. Many Western economists evaluated China's growth as one of the most successful rises in the world history. On the other hand, many among the most industrialized countries tend to consider the Chinese dream a threat. In order to assure other countries that China's rise is not a threat to peace and security, the Chinese former president Hu Jintao has always affirmed that China wants to develop in a peaceful way because it is thanks to this peaceful international environment that the stunning economic development of China has been possible. Even if China's growth during the last 30 years has been extraordinarily successful, the Chinese government knows that it needs to work much harder to make China a political and military superpower. During a public speech in 2013, the acting president Xi Jinping declared that he is not worried about the future. He is aware of what he wants for his country, and he knows that China is facing a glorious future.